And I'm Ben, or Mr. Prink. And so this is going to be a third grade classroom, and then it also has some of my resource room students in this third grade classroom. So we're team teaching. And this is a lesson 2 of 4 lessons. In the first lesson, we discussed the 4 main learning styles, and we did the learning style inventory in class, which is what you guys have with you today. And
hopefully you should have your numbers because we are going to code them.
And so our 4 learning styles that we went over on the first day, our vocab was visual, auditory, tactile, and kinesthetic learners. The objectives for this class for this lesson is I will be able to share my ideas and build off what my peers say during group discussion. I will be able to determine the main ideas and supporting details of information presented. I will be able to listen and watch the speaker to understand what the speaker is saying, and I will be able to analyze and evaluate my communication skills and my group's ability to work with one another.
Alrighty, so since you guys are third graders, I want to introduce a way of how we're going to get your attention somehow. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this one, but it's called Hang 10 and the students repeat back surfs up. So we're going to practice that a couple times because I know there's some elementary ed and some other professionals in here. So when either myself or Mr. Prink says, third graders hang 10, I want you to put your hands on your head, look at one of us who's ever talking, and say surfs up. Okay? So I want you guys to talk amongst yourselves, and we're going to practice this 1 or 2 times, hopefully, because you guys are third graders. You can get it in one shot, but, you know, sometimes practice makes perfect, right? Okay, so go ahead and talk amongst yourselves. Get a little chatty. Third graders are not so chatty. All right, third graders, hang 10.
Surfs up.
Awesome. That was really good. I'm very impressed with you third graders. Okay, so since you guys did so well on that, I will skip ahead and we are going to talk about our voice levels. So we are a third grade classroom, so there are certain voice levels that are appropriate when we're doing certain discussions and when the teacher is talking. So voice level 0, that is no talking at all. Voice level 1 is whisper, so whispering. Voice level 2 is group voice, which is the level that we are going to be using a lot today because we're doing group discussion. Level 3 is teacher voice, and level 4, I'm sure you all could guess what it is, maybe outside play. So we are not having a level 4 voice today in class. So, moving on, we're going to go ahead and do our anticipatory set with you. So, the first term that we're going to talk about is visual. So since we talked about this in the other lesson, I kind of want to gauge and see what you guys remember from the previous class. So what do you remember about visual? What does that mean if you're a learner?
It means you learn by seeing.
Okay. Okay. Anyone have anything else to add? Learn by seeing? No? All right. Yeah.
Do you like reading better than listening?
Okay. And what else? Anything else? Okay, so I want us to brainstorm and think of one word, a simpler word that we could use to pair with visual. We kind of already said the word. What would another word be for a simpler word for visual?
Sight.
Sight, okay. All right, so sight or, anyone read me that word?
Seeing.
Seeing. You guys are very quiet third graders. I'm really kind of concerned right now. You guys must have just walked into the classroom because it is not after recess. Alrighty, so go ahead.
So our second word is tactile, tactile learner. Can anyone tell me what what a tactile learner is, or how tactile learners like to learn. Yes.
We learn by touching things.
Touching things, yes. Anything else for tactile? How about texture? That goes with touching, but a lot of texture. Anything else? Yes?
Like hands-on.
Hands-on, yes. Okay, so just like before, what is a word that we can use, maybe an easier word than tactile, that everyone can understand to describe tactile learners?
Touching.
Touching, yes. Well, it's already there, so we'll just... So touching. So tactile learners are very, very texture orientated, like to touch things, like to feel things, figure out how they work. Yeah. So our next one.
So next one, auditory. So give me some qualities that an auditory learner is going to learn best by. Ability to hear things. Okay. Hearing versus what?
Either seeing or reading or something.
Okay. Anyone want to add anything?
Like oral instructions.
Okay. Can anyone think of one word to describe auditory? A simpler word?
Listening.
Listening. You did it.
Good job.
Awesome.
Someone raise my hand.
Yes, as third graders, I'm not going to call on you if you do not raise your hand. You're third graders now. You are not kindergartners. Okay.
All right, so our last word over here, my favorite, kinesthetic. So this is a big word, I know. Can anyone tell me what kinesthetic might mean? Because we talked about it last class. Yes.
Learning by moving.
Moving. Anything else? Yes.
Very active.
Active. A good example of that would be PE. Anything else? Who can give me a easier word to describe a kinesthetic learner? Tough one. Anybody? What do you think?
I like active.
Active?
Active learning.
Yes. That's a good one. All right. So those are our 4 vocabulary words, and today we will be
I
doing...
think because this class is really quiet, we should do those movements that we were
Yes,
talking about,
yes.
because I thought you guys were going to be a little bit more lively than what you guys are right now. I feel like we maybe should have brought some candy for you. That didn't really happen. So we're going to we came up with some movements, and hopefully you guys can brainstorm and think about something, and hopefully you guys can move, because I feel like no one has a heartbeat out there. Okay, so for visual, what do you think our movement could be for visual for sight? Yes,
Yes.
right there. That is our movement for sight.
Good job.
So I want everyone to practice. We're all going to get goofy and laugh at each other because we're third graders. Everyone give me your sight movement. Awesome. Thank you for participating. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hopefully we can get all these down. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Okay, listening. Yes, listening. Yes, okay. Everyone practice listening movement. Okay.
Yes. Tactile. Anyone? Like that? Like that? Too? Either one. There you go. Okay, everyone practice that? Yes, good job. All right, and the last one, which is my favorite, kinesthetic.
Everyone do it. We're going to keep doing it until everyone does it. Come on, do it.
All right. Good job.
Alrighty, hopefully you're all alive now.
Yeah.
You got your blood pumping a little bit. Okay, so now if you are at these 4 tables, you're going to see that there is a coding chart. I just want you to look at it. That is not your code name yet. For those of you that don't, we're going to get you guys into those groups. So first, I want everyone to get up, and they're going to go line against the wall. And it doesn't matter what order you're in. I'm going to count you off against the wall.
You can go onto that wall too if we need to.
Squish, make some room for your friends. We might have to do those movements again. I'm still feeling no energy in
No
there.
energy.
Okay, so before we pair you off, okay, let's see. Give me the sight movement. Perfect. Tactile movement.
Ooh.
Awesome. Okay, kinesthetic. Woo! You can add some,
Yeah.
in there.
Noise.
Okay, and auditory. Okay, good. Okay, so now we are going to count you off by 4s. Because there's 4 groups, we're going to have everyone into 4s. So we're going to start down here. So 1, 2, 3,
4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4.
1.
2, 3.
That's you go.
Sorry.
4, 1, 2. Okay, so ones, take a step forward. Everyone else, stay nice following directions. Ones. Okay, so ones, if you can come to this visual table and sit around and grab a coding sheet, which looks like a little person. And ladies, you can draw your hair on there. You just, one for everyone. Okay, 2, step forward for me. Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. 2s, you're going to go to this back table and please do the same. Yes, you can draw your hair. You can draw your hair if you want. You just have to be at the right one. 3, step forward. Okay, 3s, go and find your table. In this back one.
3's over here.
Alright, 4, step forward. Find your table. Okay, so 3rd graders, I know you're so anxious to start this right now, but I have a few directions before we get started. So, everyone at your table should have this little outline of a person. Now, this is our coding sheet. So, this is why we asked you to get those numbers with the printout of what type of learner you are. So, these numbers are going to correlate with different parts of this coding sheet depending on the station that you're at. So everyone gets the same color because that's how we're going to tell who's the highest in certain learning styles and who's the lowest. So you have to follow the directions that are on the station. So for example, kinesthetic, so that's our moving activity that we did. Directions say color in your pants with the appropriate color based on your kinesthetic score. So we're going to do that at every table, but each section has a different section. So I need thumbs up, get it, no,
Any questions?
question.
Okay, and then one last thing. While you're coloring in, let's try and make it pretty quick. We're going to do about 2 minutes at each station of just coloring in that certain section. And then also, we would like you to discuss with your group members at the table. So if you're at the auditory table, discuss with your group members maybe strategies that you like as an auditory learner, so that we can have a group discussion at the end about those strategies. So, any more questions? Any questions before we start?
No questions. Are you sure? Do you want another example? Everyone was here for last class and did their homework. So everyone has their scores? No nods either. No nods. Yes nods. Okay.
No.
Yes nods. Okay, so because For third graders, you guys are very advanced third graders, so we are only giving you 1 to 2 minutes to code your person. So make sure you're coding it with the right coding sheet. So if you're 1 to blue for kinesthetic, you're going to color the pants blue. If you're 11 to 20 for kinesthetic, you're going to color your pants red. Okay, go!
All right. You guys are hair. Yeah, you guys are going to do hair based on.
Which station is this?
I had 18.
All of my entire
Color is 18.
Tactile.
It's red. Okay. This is definitely not red. Looks like orange.
This is red orange.
What kind of stuff? Like PowerPoint?
This says it's possibly red. Looks like orange.
Color it in a little darker.
Very good. Yeah.
So was your tactile highest for this section with any of you, or no?
Mine was.
Yours was?
Yeah.
Mine too.
PowerPoint versus.
So what kind of tactile things do you think you like when you're being taught?
I don't know how to be honest. Did not know I was tactile.
Did not know, okay.
Oh.
Some self-actualization going on. Was anyone second? Was anyone red?
I was red,
Second one?
You guys have any
Red?
strategies
Okay.
for auditory?
but it was my second lowest.
Okay, your second one. Okay. Make sure you're having your discussion about what you like
These are all things that you
to
can break through into your.
have in your class for tactile. So that could be having manipulatives to do, coloring, I mean not necessarily coloring for third grade,
Really?
but
Above?
moving things around like math, so blocks and stuff.
Max is 40
That's not what she got.
Crafts.
on that website.
You notice anything here? You all have pink. So what does that say about this table then?
Pretty high.
Pretty high kinesthetic.
High kinesthetic learners. And then what do you guys like to do in class then? Kinesthetic learners. What do you prefer? Okay, move around, get active.
To learn by doing.
Learn by doing.
Attaching hand motions too. Yeah.
Okay, that was good. Did you like that? Okay.
I'll remember tactile now for sure.
Tactile. Crafts. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was so sure.
Everyone likes crafts, right? Yes. Right, should we rotate? I like it.
Alrighty, so third graders, hang 10. Alright, so you have had enough time to color in your section. So what I want you to do is I want table 1 to move back and go to table 2. I want 2 to go to 3 and 3 to go to 4. And we're going to rotate. Just take. Yeah, you're going to go to 1. Sorry.
Your coding person.
And then make sure you take your person.
Direction, color in your shirt.
Alright, so go ahead and start the next one. Make sure to keep discussing strategies at your table.
More red. This is a real red.
Not very good.
Not a very good color.
So far,
I don't have the
what does
patience.
that tell you about yourself?
You might have one.
Well, good thing that we're going to learn some strategies on how that could help you.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
I need those strategies.
Need those
I
strategies.
actually need those strategies.
One, the last group said crafts.
Boom.
Yeah.
What kind of,
Crafts are
what
fun.
do I want a graphic on there?
Foldables, you guys like foldables how to do? Flashcards? I like that.
Mathematics.
I like that for tactile. I thought of that.
Any manipulative.
Flashcards, you get to touch it while you're.
Yes, and
That's smiley face.
Yeah.
Gotta be an individual.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I have a mohawk on there.
Get a mohawk and smiley face.
I know.
Dig it.
Somebody's talking before it is not on topic, so we were supposed to do discussions about what it means to be a kinesthetic learner and what you like to do. So, what are some ways that you like to have kinesthetic? My favorite class. Okay. PE. What is it? Like purple. What else?
good. It's like that.
I bet
No, it's because Johnny Rock used to have those t-shirts. And that's why I played it.
Other class that
Crayola was like, no.
you like that involves moving? Other than
Rose art's still holding on a little bit.
I really liked when I took dance.
What kids do you see?
Chemistry? Yeah, not so much. The super dance.
Chemistry would be scary.
Like study music?
You know, singing.
We all had pink
Oh,
again.
You all have singing again?
Smaller down too much for us, I think, for third graders.
But, so you guys are
So
all,
do you think you
all
can
good
make
at this
maybe a
table?
guess as to what your shirt color might be? Pink, pink, pink.
Because the thing is, my next question
One
is
is shirt.
22, so whatever's next is also.
I believe that one is auditory. I'm pretty sure.
All right, so go ahead and rotate clockwise again. To your next station. Visual.
The red one, right?
Yes, me too. Visual.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
My highest one was visual and it was only 30. Yeah, I was almost there.
So does anyone have any patterns?
They're all pink.
They're all pink. For yours, it's all pink?
Yeah. Even though they're all different
That's good,
shapes.
that's still.
They're all, yes, they are. Unfortunately, I didn't have the same color pink for every time. I tried though.
Throwing it off.
So since your pants are blue, what does that tell you?
That I don't learn well by moving, or that is not my.
But
Well, when you come
we are going to learn about how you can definitely help those skills too. So it's not that you're low, it's just you need a little extra skills to.
It's really fun with like each one is a different shade of pink. And it's really fun.
I got pink shoes.
I got orangey shoes. I also pink shoes.
Okay.
Yours is very pink.
Yes, I'm okay with that. I like
Like,
pink.
you're gonna give myself
Pink
little
things.
bows.
They got bows? What? Good for you.
I could.
What do I want
They're
on
basically
mine?
like tiny hearts, though.
I like it.
Apparently, I'm all about the,
You're all about pink.
except for this little piece of attitude. I want to give them the rotten teeth. Like, I want to go full on and just do it, but I don't know if you're not gonna draw.
Alrighty, so tactile teaching, or tactile learning, what do you guys like? Play-Doh.
Play-Doh.
Blocks.
Or like those tube things.
Oh yeah, those cute things that stick together. I remember those. I like those. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I used to make swords out of them.
You could make swords out of them.
Those.
You can make anything.
Not
Oh,
in
like those
school,
little
though.
trapezoid
Yes, exactly.
shapes. I remember those that
Oh,
like
those
put
were
them
good.
together and make like geometric shapes in math. I like those.
They're like plastic.
Yeah, they were like these little
Yeah,
plastic
they were
chips.
so cool.
Yeah, I wanted to take them home, but I didn't know how much trouble I would get in if I got caught. So I
So
didn't.
do you think it's better to have something to be touching when you're learning? I
I think it depends on.
It depends what?
Yeah.
Sometimes it distracts me too.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I just focus on that.
Depends how I feel.
Fall under my desk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Then I get distracted by it.
Pink used to be the main color, and blue used to be
Alright. Okay.
No.
Last one.
I brought a trend. Oh yeah, I'll play your pants. Watch them not be blue though.
So this is more pants. And the beard.
Tyler, you took my book.
This is the hair and it's for beard.
Yeah, not, yeah, crazy high, but.
I don't know why, but I give myself things. I don't well, like my first
Hair?
Yeah,
They're separate? Okay.
Third grader with a beard.
I
Wow.
know.
Wow.
Parents are celebrating No Shave November,
Yeah.
and they're also
And you
cavemen.
have pink for everything?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, that is, that thing where I learned a little bit. But we have to look at them all then. So this is the last one. Tactile.
When I was a yeah! Oh, my too.
We're smart third graders.
Yeah, my dog was so mean.
I like putting together electronics. In the Navy, I built
So
generators.
what do you guys like for auditory?
I have the lowest score for auditory.
Do you have the lowest?
Yeah, like out of the 4.
Out of the 4? Did anyone share that?
I can't, that.
Same?
Is that your high score?
No.
Yeah, that's all.
Just kidding.
Well, no, I don't know. It was I think it was 26.
See, when I did mine, I did it too. And I had like 28, 31.
Oh, you had high scores for a lot.
I don't know how to deal with that.
What color is this one?
Yes, brown.
Oh.
So what do you guys all have in common at this table?
I had low scores for
Anything? Is there all pictures for everybody?
No.
So I have green beards.
Let's not be
On
rude.
Wednesday,
We wear pink.
Ready?
I have
Catch a whole person.
So green. This is your green.
red,
Love it.
What do you like for
Great
visuals?
drawing. Thank you. Great drawing. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very much.
Did anyone have the lowest?
So for
Did
this
anyone have a
question,
blue?
so this question on the kinesthetic, did you guys have any strategies that
For like,
you like to
be all different colors.
Okay, it's already off.
Exactly, yeah,
Like moving
They will
different
enhance
stations.
it.
That's pretty cool. Timed rotation. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah.
well, you're super happy. Oh yeah, ear to ear. You know the nose.
Third graders, hang 10.
Surf's
You guys are getting so, oh, I hear voices. Let's do that again. Third graders, hang 10.
Surf's up.
Awesome. Okay, so everyone should be done coloring. Thumbs up, yes. Alrighty, so now we are going to have you go and stand by your highest. Now, if 2 are the same, pick the one that is highest or you feel like you're most like. So based on your scores, stand either your high and kinesthetic, go stand over there, tactile, auditory.
Yeah.
A lot of visuals.
Wow.
Alrighty, so everyone take a quick peek around the room, and we're going to have a whole group discussion about the patterns that they see for the learners that we have in our classroom. So, what patterns do you students see for our classroom?
There's a high level of visual and a very low level of auditory.
Yes. Good observation. Any other ones? So in the class, what are some visual strategies, since you guys are all very high visual, what are some visual strategies that you'd like to see in the class in the future for teaching? Like, I know
In
you
your
had a
class,
couple
what do you like?
Instructions like written out,
written out
maybe some PowerPoints instead of
YouTube.
lectures, YouTube videos.
videos. Yes, pictures. All right, what about for auditory? I know this.
I like to record lectures and stuff.
And then listen to
Yeah, so you get to listen to it twice.
Mhm.
And
What about listening to books in our book station, like instead of reading?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yes!
All right, we'll keep that in mind. How about tactile? Strategies for tactile learners.
Well,
Touching and playing with things.
yeah, I know like math, using the
blocks, the counting blocks and stuff.
Manipulatives.
Yeah, using flashcards.
Yeah.
So you like have this
Yeah.
stuff in your hand.
That was a really good one that someone said at the table was flashcards for tactile, and I had never thought of that because you can touch it while you're reading it. I mean, it's just, and then also building blocks. Math is a big one for manipulatives. And then lastly, how about kinesthetic?
Being able to get up and move around, different activities.
Yeah, like today.
Like this.
Yeah. I personally, I think I was surprised that kinesthetic was, there's only 3 with the highest kinesthetic. I personally was kinesthetic, the highest. I like to move around. And she, what were you?
I was tactile.
She was tactile. So, yes.
So, we're also going to have another kind of talking point. Why is it important for you as learners to know this? To know what style learning you're strongest at?
Maybe when we're older than 3rd grade and we're studying for tests and stuff, we can find out the ways that we best learn and suit our studying habits to that.
Great point, yes, that's exactly. And so, like you said, flashcards, when you're older and you're using flashcards, you know that flashcards work for you, and then you can use that in your studying. So that'll help you with your academics. Any other? That's a tough one to beat.
You can basically just be an advocate for yourself and go into a classroom and know what you can do to learn best, so you can talk to your teacher and say, hey, this is how I learn.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to figure out too, so that we know how to teach to you guys, to your learning strategy.
This would be done earlier in the year, not, in November.
This would be first week.
So probably first week. So this also gives us as teachers information. So awesome. So I want to know, in your groups, did you guys talk a lot? Did you notice as you were moving if you all started talking more as you went on or less? There were some chatty groups and then there was some not so chatty groups.
We got more chatty, but it was less based on the content
On
we
the
were supposed to be talking about. So we got more social.
Okay.
Truthful.
Yes.
And you?
We talked more at the tables where we actually scored high.
Yes.
On things.
It's a really good observation.
Not as much.
There's a lot more to share. But anyone want to add anything?
And we got more, we got started out kind of chatty because we knew each other. And then it seemed like the farther we got along, the even more chatty we got. And then by the end it was like comparing colors instead of comparing, oh, I'm tactile. It was like, oh, my shoes are green. Which I mean isn't bad. At least you're acknowledging that you are tactile.
Yeah. All right, and then so for the sake of time, that's it. We would be doing an exit slip at the end of this lesson, which is on a piece of paper you'd be answering our essential question, which is how can knowing my learning style help me learn? And we all discuss that as a class, so that would be our exit slip for this lesson.